Wards. You were not born to live average. You were not sent here to just exist. You were designed to evolve, to stretch, to grow, to become the best version of yourself every single day. Wards, life will always whisper one question in your ear. Who are you becoming and what are you doing with what you've been given? Because every single one of us was born with something, a gift, a spark, rewards, a calling deep in our soul that keeps reminding us you can be more, you can do better, you can rise higher. But too many people ignore that voice. They settle, they convince themselves that this is all there is. Ward. They let the noise of the world drown out the sound of their own potential. The truth is the best version of you is not out there somewhere waiting to be found. It's built, it's earned. Wards. It's forged through the fire of discipline, faith, persistence, and hard work. Every single day, life gives you two choices: evolve or repeat, grow or stay stuck, build or blame. Wards. And that choice defines your destiny. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. But the moment you decide that your future deserves more than your excuses, wards, everything changes. Becoming the best version of yourself is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about waking up and saying, I refuse to let my past define my future. Wards, I refuse to let fear control my decisions. I refuse to let comfort be the enemy of my greatness, because comfort will lie to you. It will tell you that staying safe is better than stepping up. It will whisper, wards, don't try, don't risk, don't dream too big. But that same comfort is the reason people die with regrets in their hearts and untapped potential in their souls. You have to understand something deep, wards. Nothing changes until you do. You can pray for change, wish for change, hope for change, but if you don't change, your life won't. Wards. The greatest transformation begins the moment you stop waiting for someone to save you and you decide to save yourself. You take full responsibility for who you are and who you want to become. Wards, you stop blaming your parents, your past, your environment, your luck, and you say, from this day on, I am the author of my story. I will write my next chapter with purpose. Wards, I will stop repeating the same cycles that keep me small, because your life will only expand when you expand. There are people who will never see what you see, who will never understand your hunger. Wards, who will never believe in your dreams. Don't waste your time trying to convince them. Don't seek validation from those who've never built anything meaningful themselves. Wards, they can't see your vision because it wasn't shown to them, it was shown to you. The best version of yourself doesn't need approval, it needs discipline. It needs sacrifice. Wards. It needs silence when the world is loud. It needs faith when nothing makes sense. It needs courage when everything feels uncertain. You have to keep moving even when the path isn't clear. Wards. You have to keep pushing even when no one claps for you. The best version of you is hidden in the work you're avoiding. It's buried under the habits you need to break. Wards. It's locked behind the fears you refuse to face. You can't evolve into who you're meant to be while clinging to who you were. The old version of you was built for survival. Wards, the new version of you is built for success. But to reach it, you'll have to let go of old patterns, toxic people, old excuses, and small thinking. Wards, you'll have to rise above your circumstances and see that your pain wasn't sent to destroy you, it was sent to build you. Every storm you survived wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Wards, every setback you faced was a setup for a comeback. Every failure you experienced was just life asking you, do you still believe? Do you still want it? Are you still willing to fight for it? Wards. When you chase improvement, life rewards you with growth. When you chase comfort, life punishes you with regret. It's a simple law. You can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. Growth requires pain, wards, but it's a pain worth feeling. It's the kind that shapes you, humbles you, strengthens you. It teaches you who you are. So stop running from it. Embrace the grind. Embrace the lessons. Wards, embrace the loneliness that comes with leveling up. Because when you start working on yourself, you'll lose people. You'll outgrow conversations. Wards, you'll realize not everyone is meant to walk with you to your next chapter. And that's okay. Growth requires separation. The best version of you isn't built in crowds. It's built in quiet. Wards, it's built when nobody's watching. When you're tired, but you still show up. When you fail, but you try again. When you're scared, but you move anyway. That's where greatness lies. Wards. It's not about the spotlight. It's about the self-discipline. It's about the moments when you could quit but don't. When you could settle but choose to keep climbing. That's what defines you. Wards. Every dream demands a different you. The version of you that got you here won't get you there. You'll have to upgrade your mindset, your discipline, your habits. You'll have to cut distractions. Wards. Stop chasing temporary highs and start chasing long-term fulfillment. You'll have to stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it. Talk doesn't build dreams, action does. Wards. You can read all the quotes, watch all the videos, pray all the prayers, but until you move, nothing happens. Life rewards movement, not wishes. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Wards. The race is only with yourself. Comparison steals joy. It blinds you to your own progress. You're not late. You're not behind. You're right where you need to be to begin again. Your story might take longer, wards, but it's still valid. Don't let social media fool you into thinking you're failing because someone else looks successful. You don't know what battles they're fighting behind those pictures. Wards, you just stay focused on your lane. You keep showing up. You keep watering your own grass. Because when it's your season, nobody can stop it. Wards. Becoming the best version of yourself means waking up every morning with a mission. It means saying, today I will be better than I was yesterday, not perfect, but better. Wards. It means reading when others are scrolling. It means exercising when others are sleeping. It means learning when others are gossiping. It means speaking life over yourself when others speak doubt. Wards. It means believing in yourself when others laugh. The greatest revenge is not anger, it's success. It's walking into rooms they said you'd never enter and doing it with grace, not arrogance. Wards. Your mindset is everything. If you believe you can't, you won't. If you believe you can, you'll find a way. Your mind is the battlefield where every victory or defeat is born. Protect it. Feed it with positivity, with faith, with gratitude. Don't let negativity rent space in your head. You can't plant seeds of doubt and expect a harvest of confidence. Speak life into your goals. Speak progress into your pain. You have to become your own cheerleader. Nobody's coming to hand you belief. You have to build it. You have to stand tall and remind yourself daily that you're capable. Wards. You're chosen and you're enough. There will be days when it feels like you're not making progress. Days when you question yourself. Days when it feels like everything is falling apart. But in those moments, wards, remember, growth is invisible before it's visible. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. The seed doesn't sprout the day it's planted. It grows in the dark. Wards, you're growing in the unseen, in the struggle, in the waiting. Keep going. Because one day you'll look back and realize the things that once broke you actually built you. Wards. You can't become the best version of yourself while holding on to bitterness, jealousy, or hate. It go. Forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Wards. Your energy is sacred. Stop wasting it on things that drain you. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. You can't create a masterpiece while staring at someone else's canvas. Rewards. You have to go within, silence the world, and listen to your own soul. The best version of yourself knows when to walk away from what no longer serves you. Wards. It knows when to stop chasing people who don't value you. It knows when to rest, when to heal, when to let go. It knows that peace is more valuable than attention, and purpose is greater than popularity. Rewards. It knows that you can't please everyone and you're not meant to. The goal is not to be liked, it's to be fulfilled. You're not here to fit in, you're here to stand out. So start choosing yourself. Wards. Start showing up for your dreams. Start believing in your worth. Because nobody can want your dream more than you. Nobody can walk your path for you. Nobody can build your destiny except you. Wards. And it all starts with one decision to become who you were meant to be. Success isn't luck, it's lifestyle. It's discipline repeated daily. It's small habits done consistently over time. Wards. You don't get what you want, you get what you work for. You can't talk about being great and keep lazy habits. You can't wish for abundance while living in mediocrity. Words. You have to align your actions with your intentions. Every step you take either brings you closer to your dreams or further away. Choose wisely. And don't wait for the perfect moment to begin. Words. Start with what you have, where you are. Perfection is the enemy of progress. You'll never have everything figured out, but that's okay. Growth happens in motion. The path will reveal itself as you walk it. Words. Every master started as a beginner. Every success story began with one small, scared step. The question is, are you willing to take yours? Remember, greatness is not a destination, it's a mindset. Words. It's not about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. It's about becoming stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more disciplined. Words. It's about living with integrity even when no one's watching. It's about doing your best not to impress, but to express the purpose planted inside you. You will fail, and that's okay. A failure isn't final unless you quit. Every time you fall, rise with more wisdom. Every time you're rejected, let it refine you, not define you. Every time you're tested, remind yourself, pressure creates diamonds. You can't shine without it. So embrace the process because the process is the point. Becoming the best version of yourself isn't about outdoing others' words. It's about outgrowing your old self. It's about breaking your own limits. It's about becoming someone you're proud of, someone who inspires others by example, someone who walks with purpose and peace. Words. That's true success, being proud of the person staring back at you in the mirror. And when life knocks you down, don't stay there. Stand up, wipe your tears. Straighten your crown. Words. Remind yourself who you are and where you're going. You've survived too much to give up now. The same strength that got you through yesterday will carry you through today. You are stronger than your excuses. Words. Tougher than your fears, greater than your circumstances. You were built to overcome. So rise. Rise with intention. Rise with gratitude. Rise with belief. Wake up every morning and declare, today I will not settle. Today I will grow. Today I will move closer to my destiny. Today I will be the best version of myself. Because your time is now. Your future is waiting. Words. And the only thing standing between you and everything you want is you. So don't wait for permission. Give it to yourself. Don't wait for motivation. Create it through action. Words. Don't wait for the right time. Make this time right. The best version of you is waiting on the other side of effort, of faith, of persistence. Go meet them. Silence builds strength because it teaches you how to hear yourself. It teaches you how to listen to the whisper of your own purpose when the world is shouting confusion in every direction. Words. It shows you what truly matters when the noise fades and only your heartbeat and hunger remain. In silence, you learn that growth doesn't need an audience. It needs intention. It needs patience. Rewards. It needs that deep personal fire that burns even when nobody is clapping, when nobody is noticing, when nobody is validating. Because the truth is, real strength is not loud. It's not about proving anything. Words. It's about becoming something. It's about turning pain into power quietly. It's about working in the dark until the light finds you ready. Because the moment you start chasing attention, you lose alignment. Rewards. You start living for applause instead of progress, and that's the moment your growth becomes performance instead of transformation. Silence strips all that away. It forces you to deal with yourself, your fears, words, your insecurities, your dreams. It teaches you that everything you're waiting for on the outside is already waiting for you to claim it on the inside. Silence is where warriors are built. Words. It's where leaders are shaped. It's where confidence is created not by people telling you who you are, but by you deciding who you're going to be. Rewards. When you learn to love the quiet grind, you stop needing validation because you know what you're building, you know what's coming. Rewards. You know the result will speak for itself, and that's a different kind of peace. That's a different kind of confidence because now you're not chasing the spotlight. Rewards. You're building your own light. People think success happens when the world notices you, but it actually begins when you notice yourself. Words. When you decide that you're done explaining your vision to people who don't understand your hunger. When you stop trying to convince doubters and start proving it through action. Words. Silence gives you power because it gives you focus. Every minute you spend defending your dream is a minute stolen from developing it. Silence lets you invest that minute in improvement, in mastery, wards, in consistency, in sharpening your craft until it's undeniable. When you're quiet, you can hear direction. You can sense opportunities others miss because they're too busy talking. Silence is discipline. Rewards. It's saying, I don't need to announce what I'm doing. I'll show you when it's done. It's keeping your energy sacred. It's protecting your peace from people who drain it. Wards. It's understanding that not everyone deserves access to your process. Some people can only appreciate your product, and that's okay. You don't owe them explanations. You owe yourself evolution. In silence, you become your own company, your own coach, your own motivator, because you realize nobody can want your dream for you. Nobody can do the push-ups for your body. Wards. Nobody can learn the lessons for your soul. It's on you. And when you accept that fully, something inside of you shifts. Your energy becomes different. Your walk becomes stronger. Wards. Your presence starts to speak before you open your mouth because people can feel when someone's been through the fire and didn't need to shout about it. Silence is not weakness. It's maturity. Wards. It's the ability to say, I don't need to argue. I don't need to clap back. I don't need to prove my worth. I'm too busy building it. It's knowing that the loudest one in the room is often the emptiest. Wards. And the quiet one is usually the one making moves. Silence builds emotional control. It builds clarity because when you stop reacting to everything around you, you start responding to what's within you. Wards. Growth happens there, not in chaos, but in calm. And that calm is earned. It's not given. It comes from countless nights of frustration, doubt, tears, but choosing to keep going anyway. Wards. It comes from realizing that storms don't stop strong minds. They shape them. Every setback you face in silence is carving a stronger you. Every disappointment you don't announce is developing your patience. Every dream you protect in private is gaining power. You have to fall in love with the unseen, the slow grind, the repetition nobody sees. That's where real transformation hides. Wards. It's in the silence of early mornings, the quiet of late nights, the hours when everyone else is resting and you're rehearsing, when they're scrolling and you're studying. Wards. When they're partying and you're planning, that's when you're building a future that will one day speak louder than any brag ever could. You have to stop telling small minds your big plans. Wards. Stop announcing every move. Stop explaining every step. Because some people are not praying for you, they're praying on you. Wards. Some can't celebrate you because your progress reminds them of their procrastination. And that's okay. It's not their job to understand you. It's your job to build yourself. Wards. And you can't do that while constantly seeking approval. Silence is your protection. Silence is your armor. Silence keeps you focused on what matters. Because when you stop talking and start doing, wards. Life starts opening doors. Energy flows where attention goes. So put your attention on your mission, not on the audience. Let your consistency be your introduction. Let your success be your statement. Wards. And let your peace be your power, because when you reach that level, no gossip, no criticism, no distraction can touch you. You've already outgrown the noise. Sometimes silence is the only way to heal. Wards. When your heart is broken, when your plans collapse, when you don't understand why certain people left, silence lets your soul process what your mouth can't explain. Wards. It's in that quiet space where faith is rebuilt, where you learn to trust again, where you realize that rejection was actually redirection, and that every ending was really a new beginning in disguise. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means something powerful is growing beneath the surface. Roots before fruit, process before praise, foundation before fame. That's the order of real success. Wards. You can't skip it, because what's rushed collapses. What's built quietly lasts. Wards. And when it's time for your results to speak, they'll echo louder than your words ever could. Silence also teaches gratitude, because when you slow down the noise, you begin to see what you already have. Wards. You notice the blessings in the ordinary. You appreciate the progress others ignore. And that gratitude keeps you grounded. It reminds you that greatness without grace is emptiness. that no matter how high you rise, you still need humility to stay there. Silence humbles you. It keeps you connected to your source. It reminds you that the goal is not to impress, but to impact wards. Not to collect followers, but to create value. And that happens quietly behind the scenes in those moments when no one is watching, but you still give your best. Wards. Because you understand excellence is a habit, not an event. It's built when nobody's keeping score. And that's why the quiet workers always end up shocking the world. In silence, you learn patience. Wards, and patience is power. Because everything valuable takes time. The tree doesn't grow the same day the seed is planted. The athlete doesn't master his craft overnight. Wards. The dream doesn't manifest just because you posted about it. Growth takes seasons, and silence helps you endure them. It teaches you to trust the process when results are invisible. Wards. To believe that what you're doing will pay off even when nothing seems to be moving. And that's real faith. It's easy to talk about belief when everything's going right. Rewards. But can you still hold faith when nothing's happening? Can you still show up, still work, still grind in the dark? Because that's what separates dreamers from doers, talkers from transformers. In the silence of persistence, character is built, and character is the foundation that holds every success you'll ever have. Silence is also the birthplace of creativity. Wards. Because when your mind isn't distracted, it starts to imagine. It starts to see new possibilities. It starts to design the future instead of replaying the past. Wards. Some of your best ideas will come when you're alone, when you're walking, when you're thinking. When you're not trying to impress anyone, silence connects you to inspiration that noise blocks. Wards. And that inspiration leads to innovation. That's why quiet thinkers change the world. They don't compete for attention. They create something worth paying attention to. And that's what you should aim for. Wards. Not to be seen, but to be significant, not to trend, but to transform. And that can only happen when you're rooted deep enough to withstand the storms of opinion. When you master silence, wards, you master self-control, because it takes strength to stay still when you want to respond. It takes power to hold your tongue when your ego wants to shout. It takes wisdom to know that your peace is more important than proving a point. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you're choosing growth over impulse. That's maturity. That's how strong minds move. They don't chase chaos. They create calm. They understand that peace is a weapon and that sometimes the best way to win is to not play the game at all. Silence keeps you strategic. Wards, it helps you choose your battles. It reminds you that not everything deserves your energy, that sometimes the best answer is none. Wards. Because time will expose what truth never needs to explain. Silence gives you the space to grow without judgment, to rebuild yourself without interruption, to dream without distraction. Rewards. Because in this world, everyone wants to talk, everyone wants to show, everyone wants to prove, but few are willing to grow quietly. Few are willing to disappear for a season and come back transformed. Wards. Because that's what true transformation requires, a period of separation, a period of solitude where you focus on your own lane. Wards. Where you learn that the power of your future is hidden in your present consistency, in the things you do when nobody's watching, in the promises you keep to yourself. Wards. Because when you say you're going to do something and you actually do it, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, you build self-respect, and that respect becomes the foundation of confidence. Wards. Silence helps you keep that respect intact because you're no longer performing, you're progressing, and that difference changes everything. When you work in silence, you stop depending on external applause. Wards. You start relying on internal accountability. That's where the real growth begins. There's beauty in silence because it removes comparison. You stop measuring your success against someone else's timeline. Wards. You stop racing people who aren't even going where you're going. You realize your lane is yours. Your journey is unique. Your path can't be rushed. And once that sinks in, peace enters your spirit. Wards. Now you're not desperate, you're deliberate. You move with purpose, not panic. Silence lets you breathe. It allows you to focus on quality, not quantity. Wards. It helps you build something that lasts instead of something that just looks good, because appearances fade, but authenticity stays. Words. And you can't build authenticity if you're constantly chasing the noise of other people's opinions. Your greatness will never come from what they think. It will come from what you cultivate. Rewards and cultivation happens in quiet places. The reason silence is powerful is because it aligns you with reality. You see things as they are, not as you wish they were. You learn the truth about your habits, your strengths, your weaknesses. You can't hide from yourself in silence. That's why so many avoid it. They fear what they'll find when the distractions disappear. But those who face that truth grow faster. Words. Because you can't fix what you won't face. And you can't face what you keep avoiding. Silence is that mirror that shows you the raw, unfiltered version of you. And from there you can rebuild honestly. Rewards. When you grow in truth, you grow strong because your foundation is solid. You're not pretending, you're progressing. Rewards. And that authenticity attracts opportunities. That pretense never will. Growth in silence also protects your energy from being scattered. Every time you explain your dream to someone who doesn't get it, rewards. You drain energy. Every time you defend your vision to a critic, you lose focus. But when you stay quiet and just do the work, your energy stays concentrated. And concentrated energy changes everything. Rewards. It makes you unstoppable. It builds momentum, and momentum makes miracles happen. Silence builds that momentum one day at a time, one step at a time, without hype, without noise. Rewards. Just steady movement toward the vision. And when you finally arrive, the same people who doubted you will say they always believed. But you won't even need to respond. Rewards, because your results will be doing the talking. Your consistency will be your proof. Your success will be your response. The truth is the world celebrates the finished product, but rarely respects the process. Rewards. That's why you have to love the process yourself. You have to learn to celebrate the small wins, to find joy in the grind, to take pride in the discipline. Rewards. Because no one claps for you when you're putting in the hours. No one sees the sacrifices, the doubts, the sweat, but those are the moments that define you. Rewards. Those are the silent battles that create the loud victories later, the ones that make people say you changed overnight when you've actually been grinding for years. That's the beauty of silence. Rewards. It hides your struggle but amplifies your strength. It conceals your pain but reveals your power. It protects your purpose while you prepare. Sometimes silence will make people underestimate you. Rewards. They'll think you're not doing enough. They'll assume you've stopped. They'll forget your name. But that's good. Let them sleep on you. Because when you finally rise, they won't see it coming. Rewards. And that's one of the sweetest moments in life, when you've grown so much in private that your public breakthrough feels like a surprise to everyone except you. You knew what you were doing all along. Rewards. You knew why you disappeared. You knew why you were quiet, because you were busy building. And builders don't talk. They construct. They lay brick by brick while others gossip about the noise. Rewards. And when the building stands tall, the same voices that laughed are suddenly silent themselves. Silence will test your patience, because in that quiet space, your mind will scream for results. Rewards. You'll want to post about it, talk about it, show people what you're doing, but resist that urge. Stay rooted, because growth takes time. Your foundation is forming. Your skills are sharpening. Rewards. Your faith is deepening. Your strength is solidifying. Don't rush it. Trust it. Every seed takes time to bloom. And while it's underground, nobody claps. Nobody notices. Rewards. But one day it breaks the surface and everything changes. That's how your life will feel. All those quiet years will suddenly make sense. All those lonely seasons will suddenly connect. Rewards. All those silent efforts will finally speak, and when they do, the world will listen, because authenticity has a sound. It's the sound of truth, of purpose fulfilled. Rewards. Of destiny unfolding exactly how it was meant to. Silence is also the greatest revenge, because the best payback is progress. You don't need to argue with doubters. You don't need to respond to jealousy. Rewards. You don't need to explain to those who walked away. You just keep moving, keep building, keep improving until success makes the noise for you. And it will, because real success is loud. Rewards. Not in words, but in results, in transformation, in peace, in stability, in fulfillment, in the glow that can't be faked, that glow that comes when you know you made it through storms nobody saw. Rewards. When you know you built yourself from the ground up without shortcuts, without applause. That glow can't be bought. It's earned rewards. And silence is the workshop where it's made. You'll learn that silence is not about isolation. It's about elevation. Sometimes God, the universe, rewards. Or whatever you believe in will pull you away from certain people and places, not to punish you, but to prepare you, to separate you so you can see clearly, so you can hear instruction, rewards. So you can grow without interference. Don't fight that silence. Embrace it. That's your cocoon. That's your transformation zone. The butterfly can't become beautiful until it's hidden. Rewards. Until it's still, until it's silent. And then when it emerges, it doesn't need to explain the process. Its wings say everything. That's how your growth will be. Rewards. Your silence will eventually turn into flight. Silence also builds inner peace. And peace is the new wealth when you stop chasing validation, when you stop needing to prove your worth. Rewards, when you stop responding to negativity, you start experiencing a calm that can't be shaken. And that calm gives you clarity. Now you can think better, decide better, act better. You become more intentional. Rewards, and that's when you become unstoppable, because nothing can distract a focused mind. No noise can derail a calm spirit. That's why silence is golden. It's not emptiness, it's empowerment. Rewards. It's the difference between reacting emotionally and responding intelligently, between rushing and aligning, between forcing and flowing. Silence gives you that balance, that wisdom. Rewards. That poise that true leaders carry. As you grow in silence, you'll start to notice your circle shrinking. Not everyone will understand your season. Some will call you distant. Some will call you changed. Rewards. But that's what growth does. It requires you to leave behind what no longer fits. Don't feel guilty for outgrowing people who chose comfort over change. Wish them well and keep moving. Rewards. Your silence will teach you who's really for you, because real ones don't need constant access to believe in you. They respect your distance. They support your discipline. They understand your mission. Rewards. And when the time is right, they'll still be there cheering when the results speak. That's the beauty of quiet growth. It filters your environment naturally. Rewards. You end up surrounded by people who match your peace, not your pain. And one day, after all the silent work, the quiet nights, the unseen sacrifices, you'll wake up different, your mindset sharper. Rewards. Your heart lighter, your confidence unshakable. And you'll realize you've become exactly who you were meant to be. Not because you shouted about it, but because you stayed consistent in silence. Rewards. You honored the process, you trusted your journey, and you let your results make the noise. That's the victory few experience, because few are willing to stay silent long enough to grow into it. But you did. Rewards. And that's what makes your story powerful. Your silence wasn't empty. It was sacred. It was building a version of you the world wasn't ready for. But now it's time. Your results will speak. Rewards. And the same silence that once felt lonely will now feel legendary, because it built strength that can't be shaken, peace that can't be stolen. Rewards. And purpose that can't be denied. Discipline is not something you wake up and feel like doing every day. It is the quiet agreement you make with yourself when nobody is watching. Rewards. It is the muscle you build when motivation disappears. It is that moment when you look at your dreams and decide they matter more than your comfort. Because transformation never happens in comfort. Rewards. It happens in the heat, in the pressure, in those silent hours when you could have chosen ease, but you chose effort, when you could have rested, but you chose to rise. Rewards. Discipline is the foundation of every successful story. It is the invisible bridge that carries you from potential to power. It is the reason some people only dream while others build the dream. Rewards. The difference is never talent. It is discipline, the steady hand that keeps pushing when the emotions fade, because emotions are temporary, but commitment is eternal. Rewards. And consistency is the heartbeat of that commitment, the rhythm that keeps the fire alive. You see, anyone can do it once, anyone can start, but only the discipline can continue. Rewards. Only the consistent can transform chaos into clarity, effort into excellence, promise into proof. The world will always celebrate the results, but never see the repetition, the practice. Rewards. The quiet days when you had to talk yourself into believing again, when you had to fight through doubt, when you had to show up even when nobody noticed. Discipline is not glamorous. It is lonely. It is demanding words. It asks you to sacrifice distraction for direction, and every time you choose to stay consistent, you are telling the universe you are ready for more, that you are not here to wish, you are here to work towards, that you will not let your potential rust under the weight of laziness, you will not let fear write your future, you will not let excuses become your language, words. Discipline is the way you prove to yourself that you mean what you say. It is easy to talk about goals, but discipline is when you wake up and do the thing whether you feel ready or not. Words, consistency is the echo of that discipline. It is you saying again and again, I will not quit, I will not skip, I will not shrink, even when progress feels invisible, even when growth feels slow. Words. Consistency builds momentum in silence, like a seed under the soil, unseen but unstoppable. One day that seed breaks the ground and everyone calls it sudden success, but you know it was years of unseen effort. Words. Nights of repetition, days of commitment, discipline and consistency are the twin forces that shape greatness. They do not depend on mood, they depend on decision. Words. They demand that you keep the same energy on day 1 and day 1,000. They remind you that excellence is not a one-time act, but a lifelong standard. Words. The person who wins is not the one who tries hardest for a moment, but the one who keeps showing up when the spark fades, when the applause stops, when the world forgets. That is where transformation begins. Words. You cannot transform in comfort. You transform in commitment. You transform by doing what you said you would do long after the feeling that made you say it has passed. Consistency is the mirror of self-respect, because when you keep your promises to yourself, you start trusting your own strength. You start believing in your own power. Every time you stay disciplined, you are rewriting your story. Words. You are teaching your mind that you are in control, not your mood, not your circumstances, not your environment. Discipline is the shield against distraction. It protects your focus. It builds your patience. Words. It keeps your purpose clean. While others get lost chasing everything, you keep building something because you understand that the small daily bricks build the tallest walls. Every rep, every effort, every repetition counts. Nothing is wasted. Transformation is not a miracle. It is math. Add small steps every day. Subtract excuses every night. Multiply consistency. Divide doubt. Words. And you will arrive at greatness, but you cannot cheat the process. You cannot skip the grind. You cannot fake discipline. It exposes you when the storms come. Words. It reveals whether your commitment is real or just for show. Discipline is like fire. If you feed it, it grows. If you neglect it, it dies. Consistency is the oxygen of that fire. Without it, your flame fades. Words. Without it, your progress pauses. Success belongs to those who show up long after the hype dies down. The disciplined do not wait for perfect conditions. They create progress in imperfect ones. Rewards. They do not chase motivation. They build momentum. Because motivation is a guest, but discipline is a resident. And when you keep that resident strong, you never lose your rhythm. The world will test your patience. Rewards. It will tempt you with shortcuts. It will whisper that you are wasting your time. But you must remember that every master was once a beginner who refused to quit. Every champion was once a student of discipline. Words. Every legend was once consistent when nobody cared. Transformation is the reward of endurance. It does not come to those who dabble. It comes to those who dedicate. And dedication is not a mood. It is a mission. Words. It is waking up and deciding that your purpose deserves your best, that your dream deserves your discipline, that your life deserves your consistency, because nothing changes until you change. Words. Nothing grows until you grow. Nothing becomes better until you become relentless. The gap between average and exceptional is filled with disciplined hours, with consistent effort. Words. With ordinary days done extraordinarily well, the small things become the big things. The small wins become the big victories. When you keep doing the right thing long enough, the results become inevitable. Words. Not because luck found you, but because discipline built you and consistency crowned you. Transformation does not belong to those who start fast, but to those who finish strong. Words. To those who keep faith in the valley, to those who push when progress feels invisible, to those who show up when energy is low. The disciplined mind does not seek comfort. It seeks clarity. Rewards. It understands that growth and pain share the same address, and if you can stay consistent in pain, success becomes your neighbor, because discipline is not just about what you do, it is about who you become. Rewards. Every act of consistency changes your identity. Every day you stay committed rewires your belief system. You start seeing yourself not as someone trying, but as someone becoming. Rewards. And that is the difference between those who reach and those who rise. When you operate with discipline, you no longer chase the feeling of progress. You live in the process of progress. Rewards. You stop asking when will it happen and start saying I am happening. You begin to understand that transformation is not a destination. It is a direction, a lifestyle. Rewards. A commitment to being better than you were yesterday, not for applause, not for validation, but because your purpose demands it. Consistency builds integrity. It aligns your actions with your intentions. Rewards. It removes the gap between who you say you are and what you actually do. The world respects consistency because it is rare. Rewards. Anyone can be brilliant for a moment, but only the discipline can stay brilliant over time. Consistency is what turns spark into flame, motion into mastery. The ones who master their craft are not the most gifted. Rewards. They are the most grounded, the ones who practice even when progress is invisible, the ones who stay faithful to their calling when everyone else quits. Discipline is how you build trust with yourself. Rewards. When you do what you said you would do, your confidence grows, your energy changes, your focus sharpens, you begin to walk differently, speak differently, think differently. Rewards. Because you have evidence that you can depend on yourself. And once you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. You no longer wait for others to believe in you because your results already prove your belief. Consistency becomes your language, repetition becomes your rhythm, and resilience becomes your response to every challenge. The undisciplined chase comfort and wonder why they never grow. Rewards. The disciplined chase growth and become uncomfortable with discomfort. They understand that every day is a test, every delay is a lesson, every obstacle is an opportunity to prove commitment. Rewards. Transformation demands that you repeat what works until it becomes who you are, not until you are tired, not until it is easy, but until it is natural, because real change is not doing something once. Rewards. It is becoming the kind of person who does it always. Success is not one act, it is a pattern. A discipline sustained through seasons of doubt, pain, and distraction. When you build discipline, you build direction. Rewards. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop waiting for the perfect time and start making every time perfect, because you have realized that time will never favor the unprepared. Rewards. It only rewards the consistent. Every second spent in discipline is an investment. Every act of consistency is a deposit in your destiny. Rewards. And one day the compounding of those small disciplined acts creates an explosion of results that people will call overnight success. But you will know it was years in the making. Every repetition was a brick. Rewards. Every commitment a beam. Every sacrifice a seed. The transformation was not sudden, it was steady, because discipline never shouts. It builds quietly, and consistency never boasts. It proves silently. And one day everything you work for will align, because the universe respects order, it respects effort, it rewards endurance. The disciplined do not need to chase. Rewards. What is meant for them finds them, because their consistency keeps them ready. Discipline is the art of staying in control when everything else tempts you to lose it. It is the power to choose long-term reward over short-term pleasure. It is the courage to stay when others quit, to focus when others drift, to continue when others complain. Rewards. And to keep believing when nothing seems to work. That is where the transformation happens. In those moments when quitting feels easier but continuing builds character. Rewards. When giving up seems tempting but showing up changes everything. Your life will only move in the direction of your discipline. Your results will always reflect your repetitions. Rewards. And your future will always echo your consistency. If you want peace, you must practice discipline in your thoughts. If you want growth, you must practice consistency in your actions. Rewards. Because nothing worthwhile happens by accident. It happens by alignment. It happens by effort, and it happens by patience. Discipline teaches you that progress is not always visible, but it is always happening. Rewards. that every small effort accumulates even when you cannot see it, that every moment of focus counts even when no one applauds it. Consistency teaches you to fall in love with the journey, words, to find joy in the doing, not just the result, to measure yourself by effort, not applause, because applause fades but results remain. When you stay disciplined long enough, your habits become holy. Your actions become automatic. Your energy becomes intentional. You start living from purpose instead of pressure. You stop needing to prove and start needing to improve, because improvement is your oxygen. Rewards. Consistency is your heartbeat, and discipline is your backbone. Together they make you uncomfortable. The storms will come, distractions will rise, doubts will whisper. But if you stay consistent, you will outlast every storm, because storms do not destroy disciplined people. They define them. They bring out what was already inside. Discipline gives you foundation. Wards. Consistency gives you endurance. Together they make you unstoppable. The disciplined mind does not crumble. It calculates, adapts, it persists. And that is what transformation looks like. Not perfection, wards, but persistence, not sudden leaps, but steady climbs, not massive changes overnight, but small wins over time. Discipline is how you build a foundation that cannot be shaken. Consistency is how you build a life that cannot be faked, because you cannot pretend to be consistent. You either are or you aren't, and life will always expose what you practice. Wards. The ones who rise are the ones who repeat. They keep doing the thing that others get bored of. They keep sharpening the same skill that others neglect. They keep building the same dream that others abandon. Wards. Because they understand that excellence is not an event, it is a pattern, and once you master that pattern, your life becomes art. Your purpose becomes clear. Your growth becomes constant. Wards. Every day you wake up disciplined, you are transforming. Every day you stay consistent, you are expanding. Every day you resist the urge to quit, you are rewriting your destiny. Wards. Because discipline and consistency are not just engines of transformation. They are the heartbeat of greatness. They are the bridge between where you are and where you could be. Wards. They are the difference between a life of intention and a life of excuse, between regret and results, between almost and achieved. The disciplined and consistent rise not because life was easy, wards, but because they refused to make it an excuse. They took responsibility. They stayed steady. They trusted the process, and they let their work speak louder than their words. Transformation is not magic, wards. It is mastery, and mastery comes only from repetition, from doing the right thing over and over until it becomes who you are. And when that happens, when discipline and consistency finally become your nature, wards, you become unstoppable, unshakable, undeniable, because now you do not wait for opportunities. You attract them. You do not hope for change. You become the change. You do not beg for greatness. You build it with your bare hands through daily effort, daily focus, daily discipline, and daily consistency.